Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the His and Her Rewatch podcast, where we watch movies that he likes.
And watch movies that she likes.
I'm the His, Caleb, and with me, as always, my busy wife, the Her, Megan. Megan, welcome back to another episode of our podcast.
That's right. Thank you for having me. And I'm actually not as busy as I had been. We're still on fall break. Our kids are doing year-round school this year and for the first time, and we are enjoying a 2-week fall break, which I didn't realize how many schools out there are actually on that year-round school thing, and I'm kind of liking it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like being able to vacation in October.
We went to Florida.
Right.
And that is
no one's there.
No one's there. That's the best time to go to Florida.
Yeah, the weather was really nice, and I think we had more local experience. So, when we were on the beach, it was just a lot of locals. We got to watch a lot of surfers because I guess October, fall time is really good for surfing, and it was still warm. Like it was hot almost, mid 80s.
Yeah, I think it could have got cooler. I think it was threatening to get cooler where we were. Further south, we were about middle of the state. Further south you went, it was definitely warmer. The water was still warm enough to get in.
Yeah, it was actually cooler at home than it was in Florida, which, if y'all don't know, we live in South Carolina / Georgia. Colder. But I feel like it was like in the upper 70s here and then warmer in Florida.
It was a lot warmer, yeah. So we did enjoy the good weather. The sun goes down a little bit earlier. That was the only downfall. That time of year, the sun goes down. But that was fun. We had a good vacation. This is actually, we've been off. We haven't recorded in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it might be a little rusty.
We're a little rusty, so bear with
better.
us.
Who knows? Refreshed.
No. We'll soon find out how. We'll get into this episode. Do you have what do you have? You want to talk about our socials?
Yeah, let's talk about socials like we always do.
We gotta plug our socials.
That's right. So if you aren't already following us on our socials, please go give us a follow. We do post. We're not posting as regularly as I would like, but hopefully once my schedule slows down, I'm able to put more into it.
And we're not doing it too much where it's aggravating for people. So we're trying to have a good balance.
No, but I want to do more interaction with people. Like I know we talked about in our last episode about doing a giveaway.
But that was for our 10th episode.
That's right.
We're still running and we're still moving.
Which number are we on? 8?
Is this 8 or 9?
I don't know. You're supposed to be the one keeping up with it.
I didn't do it. I know. We'll have to find out. Hang on.
Well, it should be an odd number. So yeah, maybe it is 9.
Yeah, I think it is 9.
9. Okay, yeah. So our next episode, this is the downfall of I was recording in advance.
Well, I was started editing our last episode. I'm like, yeah, that was the 8th one. So yeah. Anyways,
okay. So our next episode, it'll be a Her podcast episode because hers are even and his are uneven. Or I'll say uneven, but odd, also odd. So yeah, on our 10th episode, we will talk about our giveaway. So make sure, remind our future self to talk about that because we'll be taking another couple weeks of break. I'll be going out of the country actually, and
I was thinking about it. This episode will air. Will post. Air like we're on it. We're on the air live.
Thank God we're not live.
We are, this episode that we're talking about, The Hunt for Red October, will be dropped while you're in Costa Rica.
Yes. After this episode, we'll talk about our 10th episode. So on our 10th episode, we're going to talk about our giveaway, and we'll be putting that on our social media. Let's bring it back to social media.
Right.
So if you aren't already following us, make sure you do at least by then. But I would just go ahead and do it now because we're cool people, and we're hopefully going to have more interaction. But it's at His and Her Rewatch, and that's A&D for the and then we're also on Facebook. We may do another giveaway, so basically would have like 2 separate giveaways, one for Instagram, one for Facebook. Don't know what we're going to give away yet, but it'll be something that you will want. It won't be like a free ebook or something.
A signed headshot of me. Yes. That's what we should give away. Signed headshots.
Don't think anyone will want that.
No.
Maybe your mom. or your friend Tim.
Probably.
But
framed.
Yeah,
sign.
And then on Facebook it's at His and then the and sign, Her His and Her Rewatch, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a long intro about our socials. So
Yeah.
this is going to be a fun episode.
Yeah. We're dragging it out.
Yeah. And I just want to preface this with, before we start this movie, I'm not an idiot. Okay? Because I feel like this movie really made me feel stupid.
Okay. No, we'll get it. Hold on. We'll start talking about it. Let's do.
And that's not on Caleb. Caleb does not make me feel stupid ever. He's super smart and intelligent, especially when it comes to history and war stuff. And I think a lot of that has to do with your grandpa and all that. And plus, I feel like history in general is more of and I'm probably going to upset a lot of people, it is more of a masculine feel to it. You know, it's about
obviously
war.
That's exception. Like this, just in general, yes.
Yes.
There's obviously women
that
do and men that don't. I know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
if we think of gender norms, that's what you think of.
No, like somebody that's going to be more history focused, or they're going to be more into military or more into.
And that's not to excuse my stupidity. No. I know I did go through high school and I did go to college and I did study these things, but I have been removed from that.
And you're removed and you don't
for a very long time.
You just don't have an interest, and that's fine.
And I do, but to me,
like I knew when I picked this movie, you're not a military.
Yeah.
You don't like military movies. I mean, there's probably some that I don't know. Is there any military movies that you enjoy or like?
I love
war?
The Patriot. The Patriot I've seen so many times, and I love that movie.
It's a good story.
And I watched it. I'm pretty sure I watched it the first time in high school when they showed it to us. But I do, and I think they do a good job of making it historical. And that's one of the historical events that I remembered because it's just a great movie in general.
I will say I'm not a big into military and war movies. I do enjoy good ones. There's a couple. I like quite a few military. This is not a war movie. This is a military movie.
Right.
There's no
but
war.
It does take place. But
it has
military,
to do with like the government, the military,
right.
and conflict.
Well, I just know our youngest son. He's only 8 years old, but he loves history.
Oh my gosh!
And he asks questions all the time, and I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
And he's too little to like Google it, so I'm like, just ask your dad.
I know he always talks about the presidents. He has favorite presidents, and didn't he want to be George Washington for Halloween? Didn't he talk about Abraham Lincoln or something?
Recently, his favorite historical person is George Washington Carver. Don't know why, where, I don't know. They're not even talking about that in school, so I literally don't know where he gets it from.
They did talk about that last year at some point. They talked about it.
Maybe it came back up again. I don't know. But he's a character.
He does. Yeah.
So just wanted to preface with that.
But I will say, I did what I was talking about, because I don't like. I'd like the more further historical military and war movies. I don't like the ones that are set in more modern times, like in Afghanistan or things like that. I guess it's too close to home.
Yeah.
And then I really don't like any history movies that are like 2 years ago. Like I see there was something that came out recently. I'm like, that just happened in real life. Like, why are we making a movie about that, a reenactment about that? So I think a lot of those, like, there's some really good ones that are set in like Desert Storm, or not Desert Storm, but Afghanistan and over there in the Middle East. There's some good ones that I like, but I don't really care to watch them a lot of times. And so I do like the older ones that are more World War II or Revolutionary War and things like that. But more further removed from current stuff is better.
Right. So I just want to make sure that, and again, this is not a history podcast.
No.
We're literally just reviewing this movie. I don't want to offend anyone who is in the military or was. And I'm so nervous about it because, I did come from a naval background. My grandfather was in the Navy.
Was both your grandfather, or one was in just the Army?
I don't know. No, I know. I think I don't know if he was a pilot. I know my uncle was in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he was as well, but I really don't know. My grandfather on my dad's side, he passed away when I was, when I was a lot older. I was probably like 9 or 10 when he passed away, but we didn't live as close to him. He lived about 4 hours away, but we saw him every once in a while. But I just don't know a lot about him. That wasn't like something that they talked about a lot, but like with my other grandpa, my grandmother talked about it all the time, and then she had brothers who talked about it all the time, and
like your grandma's brother who just passed away at 100.
Yes.
He was like the family historian.
Yes.
And he, like that,
he was also in the Navy, right?
They were all in the military.
I forget what he was in.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it was in the Navy.
I think they all were in the Navy, if I remember correctly.
He fought
They're all
in
World War II.
World War II.
Right, they were all in World War II.
I thought he also fought
but your
in
grandfather,
Vietnam? Is that wrong?
More,
I don't
probably
know.
Korean
War, that's it.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But I know your grandfather, he was in the Navy for sure.
Yes.
I knew that. And he was on 2 boats that sank.
3
boats that sank.
Yes.
He was on 3 ships.
Oh, he was on the battleships. So, no, not the battleships. I'm sorry, the destroyers.
Okay.
Yes, he was always in the destroyers.
Vehicles.
Yes.
The support.
Yes. So it is kind
protected,
of. It's likely that they
ones.
do sink because that's their job.
Right.
But
he survived 3 sunken ships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was married to?
Yes. Yeah. He married. Actually, I found this out just recently too. He actually went. What do you call it? Enlisted. He was only 17.
Yeah. That happened a lot.
Yeah, I did. And so he lied. And so for the longest time, which he already knew my grandma then, I don't know if they were married. I don't think they were married when he left. I think they had just met. And so they kept in contact through letters. And so she had all those letters still, which was really cool. And then I think that they got married when he got back from Vietnam. I mean, from Korean War. No, which one was first?
World War II.
World War II. Okay. Yeah. When he got back from World War II, see, I told you guys, I don't know my order. He was not in the Korean War for very long. He actually got discharged with the Purple Heart. I forget how he got injured or something, which he ended up dying from lung cancer. Never smoked a cigarette a day in his life, which they say that's very common with the atmosphere in the submarines and in the boats and stuff, that whatever is in that
bad
area.
Air quality.
Yeah, which I don't know if it's like radiation like this movie talks about. I don't know, but my grandma swore, that's what it was, because
sure.
he was only 60s.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe 70s. I don't know. Yeah, I wish my grandmother just passed away this year too, and so I wish. She wasn't in her right mind for the past few years, but I loved hearing her stories, and she loved telling them.
Yeah.
And I wish I remembered more of them, but I just don't.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all written down.
I'm sure my great uncle.
I guess it'd be your great uncle.
Yeah. So I thought maybe it might be a great uncle.
Because he has like a family book he wrote.
Yeah, he has a family tree that I've looked at. I had a project in college, and had to do a family tree, and it was already done for me.
Right.
But I almost feel like after watching this movie, I was like, so my sister's husband actually just retired from the Navy a few years ago. And he would be a great guest. We should have had him on the show.
Yeah. He was on I'm trying to remember what kind of ship he was on. He wasn't on a carrier.
I'm not sure.
But he knew, because it was so funny, because I don't know if he'll listen to this. He's so funny. We went and toured the aircraft carrier in Charleston.
Yes.
When they were living in Charleston. And he was like our personal tour guide.
Yes, it was so awesome.
I was like, okay.
The kids loved it.
Yeah, the kids loved it.
For
me, it was a little much. I'm like, whatever. You do you, man.
We learned so many things. And so that was one thing taking them from this movie, is like, I have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, because it was like legit submarine talk.
No, they were, and we'll get into it, but the writing of it was very detailed. And we'll go ahead and get into it. You want to get into it?
Sure, let's get into it.
All right. So we're talking about the year this movie came out, 1990 film, Hunt for Red October.
The most brilliant commander in the Soviet Navy.
Remy has trained most of their officer corps. He's nearly a legend in the submarine community.
The most deadly submarine ever built.
This thing could park a couple of hundred warheads off Washington. Nobody'd know a thing about it until it was all over.
And once more, we play our dangerous game with our old adversaries, the American Navy.
His plan is a mystery.
A man with your responsibilities reading about the end of the world.
Apparently, he has suffered a kind of nervous breakdown in which he announced his intention to fly his missiles on the United States.
He wants to help you hunt him down and kill him.
Open the outer doors, firing point procedures.
Yeah, I know. I could never remember. I said, what are we looking for Red October? What's it called again?
Yeah, and you didn't like the name of. Now, after you said, but while we were starting the movie, you thought this was a stupid name for a movie. Now, after watching the movie, do you think that was a still stupid name, or do you think it was a?
Well, also after learning more about it, I realized it's from a book.
Yes.
I didn't realize this was the Jack Ryan series.
Yep.
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went into this not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, I think it could have just been Red October. It probably would have been fine, but I mean,
I think it's a great name. It's it'd be a great name it's a great name for a book, especially. And so I think it was good. I do want to talk about the book portion of it in a minute as we get into a little bit. But this movie, which I thought was interesting, that it was The Hunt for Red October had a $30 million budget. And I'm like, that's very conservative budget for a movie like this. It looks a lot more expensive. And $30 million,
well, I'm like most of it did take place like on a soundstage in the submarine.
Yeah, for sure. But there were like submarines. I mean, I don't know. It's a good cast. I don't know how much they chart. You know, they had to pay them.
Yeah, I'm sure Sean Connery was not cheap.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. But I was like, okay, $30 million, and I know that's conservative. I know that's kind of a lower budget that you would expect from a movie like this, a military movie. So I'm like, well, how much? We did the Batman movie, and that came out a year before this. How much was that budget? And it was supposed to. The Batman 1989 was supposed to have a $35 million budget, but it escalated to $48 million. Wow. And this movie just looked more expensive. I don't know. To me, so.
I guess so. I mean, there was a lot of sets that were the same. So
definitely.
I think they just used their money wisely and planned well.
Yeah. And they did reuse a lot of the sets and just used a different color theme. I don't know if you paid attention. I saw that. That was kind of interesting. But it made $122 million domestically and $200 million worldwide. So that's a good return. It ranked 5th in the box office that year. So this is, do you know what other movie from 1990 that we've already watched?
What?
Pretty Woman.
Nice.
That was another one.
Did it beat that one?
No, Pretty Woman was the second one. So we did talk about this. It was.
And you rated it so low.
It was Ghost. Ghost was the number 1 movie that year. Pretty Woman, Home Alone, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then Hunt for Red October. A little recap if you haven't listened to our Pretty Woman podcast episode.
Go back and listen.
Go back and listen to that one.
But what, episode?
That was episode 2, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first pick, yeah.
That was such a long time ago.
Yeah. Just feel like it was, though, actually.
That feel like a long time ago. All right. So this was released in March 2nd of 1990. It was nominated, had 3 nominations for the Academy Award. 1 for Best Sound Editing, 1 for Best Editing, and it won for Best Effects and Sound Effect Editing. So this is an Oscar-winning film.
Nice. I could see that.
Yeah. All right. So like we talked about, this is a book. It's based on a Tom Clancy novel named Hunt for Red October. Have you ever heard of Tom Clancy?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And he does a lot of, I don't expect you to have ever read any of Tom Clancy's.
Absolutely not. Well, I know you picked up one of them, right? And that was one you tried to read a couple years ago?
No.
The series. You said it was like kind of based off of James Bond kind of stuff. Are you sure?
It was I don't think
it was Tom Clancy.
It was a James Bond book. I don't know.
You never tried to read the Jack Ryan books?
I never did.
Oh, I thought you did.
Maybe
I just thought you did.
Yeah,
I know you don't, but I thought...
You probably thought I should.
Maybe that was it. Maybe I was going to gift it for you.
You were like, read a book, Caleb. Not a comic book.
I don't mind.
So Tom Clancy, this book, Hunt for Red October, was his first book actually that he wrote in 1984, which was surprising how successful that book was considering it was his first book.
Now he was the same one who did all the Die Hard ones, right?
No.
Okay. I thought that was the same person.
No. Tom Clancy does military,
Okay.
a lot of military style books and things. So I want to read this. I got off of a website. I don't know, but this will summarize a little bit about the book and thing and his career. It says the book in reference to the Hunt for Red October was very detailed and extremely savvy when it came to the machinations of the military and Cold War politicians. In fact, Clancy's editor at the Naval Institute Press had him eliminate details which trimmed the novel by 100 pages.
Wow.
In all, he wrote 28 books, mostly fiction, but also military-themed nonfiction books. Clancy placed 17 books on the New York Times bestseller list, many which hit number one. His Orville accounted for sales of 100 million copies, making him one of the all-time most popular writers in history.
Wow.
So,
yeah, well, I mean, that's why I haven't heard of him before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very impressive.
Yeah.
What he's done in books. And
now, was a lot of his book writing in the movie?
I don't know how much adaptation. I think I saw that he did enjoy the adaptation of his book to this.
Because I felt like, I just want to say, while I was watching the movie, I was very confused and lost and almost bored.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've never watched a movie where I didn't understand it until the next day. Like,
this one caught up to you later on?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that not bizarre?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple movies where it has done that. Not that I didn't understand it, but like as a whole, it kind of like that's why I think it's a good film. I will say it is a good film because it had me thinking. Right. Because, I don't like to feel, ignorant. I want to figure it out and want to know what was going on.
Right.
And so before I did any research or whatever, because I didn't want to sound like a complete idiot on who people were, what they were. But I figured it out. Like, I was still thinking about it the next day of like what was going on, why this was this. Like, I understood like at the end,
the
like
reasons
I understood
certain
that
plot points were happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I understood at the
like,
end.
Why
of the
didn't
movie,
they just do this? Or
right.
Why didn't they just do this? And it made more sense as you thought it out.
Yes. I mean, I understood at the end of the movie what happened.
Right.
Like, that part was a slow burn for me. Like, what was going... Because I feel like a lot of movies, especially back then, they have very easy plots to figure out. Like, what's going to happen. They're very much like a formula. But I feel like this movie wasn't that way. You were kind of like... At least for me, because I don't know a lot of military jargon, so I didn't really know what was going on. Like, I could never figure out when they said that he was defected.
Defected, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it, I think, had to be not that
like they could have used
Alec Baldwin has an accent, but like the way he was using the word, I was confused. Like, obviously now I think of, okay, defected. Okay, he was like not literally ill, but like sick. So he was sick to them, so he was trying to leave. That kind of thing. Like, I got that now.
Yeah, I think they used that word a lot, and
they did.
They could have used synonyms.
Yes.
or just explain that word a little bit for the audience to understand. Because like you said, if somebody doesn't know military terms, like that's a common military term, but if you don't know what defect means in reference to that, then you would, like, somebody couldn't follow along. You're like, what they're doing? There's because there's three different things in the movie that which way it could have gone. Right. And so that's what the whole thing was. They thought one thing, the other people thinking another, Jack Ryan's thinking another, and they're all trying to it's a very a chess game going on.
Yes.
And you're having to figure out the pieces and what's going on. And the Russians are trying to say one thing, the Americans are trying to say another thing. Jack Ryan's got this idea of what's actually happening, and then
nobody believes him.
And then Sean Connery, you're like, is he doing what he's thinking, or what is he actually doing? And so there's a good. That's what I really enjoy about this, because it's really good writing.
Yes,
I
agree.
It's good. It's good
That's
writing.
why I asked that about Tom Clancy, like if he had any say in the writing, or at least the dialogue. I mean.
Okay, I got you.
I feel like I could see how this was a book and how it would be easier to follow in a book form, and that's why. And I do think it adapted well to a film. It was just a little more confusing. Like maybe if you read the book, you would probably understand it a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a slow burn, and I think that that's good. Like I think that's a good thing.
Well, this movie, like you said, it doesn't have. It's like a military thriller. It's not a military action. It's not a war movie. There's not a lot of just big action sequences. It really relies on story and plot and acting and to captivate the audience to watch it. So that's why I think it's real well written and well paced and good, a lot of good moments. And good suspenseful moments that keep you intrigued the whole time. And so
I even wrote down a note.
Okay.
I said it was interesting watching Jack Ryan piece together all the clues and try to convince other people around him of Ramius's true intentions, despite not having any proof. Like he didn't have any concrete proof, especially in the beginning.
That's true.
Right? And it was just based off a hunch, which. I mean, you can kind of be like, okay.
Well, his hunches are based on evidence or information that he's getting, and he's like, something's not making. He's like, yeah, this is what they want you to think. Like, this is what the Russians want you to think, that he's wanting to do this, but based on this other
the movie
information
as well, because I don't think, at least in the beginning, almost through halfway through, I feel like the directing was wanting you to think that way as well, because I didn't, especially because I didn't know what defect meant. I didn't know. So I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm like, yeah, he's about to go to the U.S. and bomb us. You know, like that was what I think. I think that's what the writers wanted you to think. Yeah. And then he had this little group on the ship with him that were, wanting to do that as well. And that was what I got. And I didn't understand. I didn't get it until the very end.
Right.
Like the very end.
The reason he was doing all of that, the reason he was trying to change the orders that they had, and they were having to go where they were going.
And I'm assuming
it's like a military exercise. Basically what he's saying is the crew thinks it's a military exercise that they're doing. They're testing out this new state-of-the-art submarine, and so that's what they're doing. They're going, and really he's telling the crew is they're going to go over to the United States and just go sit over there and basically flip them off and say, hey, we're here. We can go where we want to. And they're all on board, but that's not what his goal was.
Now, was the crew that was the higher up, like the other captains that he had that secret meeting in, were they all in on that?
Yes.
Like they knew that they were all defect?
Yeah, that's what Ryan was saying. He said he couldn't just do that on his own. He had the other officers.
That's why they were so upset when he killed that guy. Because they were like, we didn't sign up for this.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So again, it all came back whenever... Right. Because, again, I think a lot of that has to do with their accent. And I wish we had watched this with subtitles. I feel like such an old person.
Well,
I love watching stuff with subtitles now, especially complicated movies like this that I've never seen before, so I can follow along a lot better. Because, like, even after, like, looking at the quotes and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's a great line. Like, I missed it, kind of like when we watched Clueless. Like, there were so many great lines that they go by so quick.
Right.
And you don't really see them or hear them, actually. But yeah, and we could talk about some scenes that I liked. Or did you have some more facts?
I mean, we can talk about some of the...
boring stuff.
Some of the boring stuff. But I did take notice to like the director and the actors and stuff. We got to give them their props and stuff. So John McTiernan was the director. We'll just kind of skim through some of this. He's known for directing The Predator and Die Hard.
Yeah, this was what I saw. I was like, what did I see? This is something about Die Hard.
The director. Yeah. He directed Die Hard, Die Hard with a Vengeance, The Thomas Crown Affair, and then this was a big one for him as well. You had Alec Baldwin, as we talked about, as Jack Ryan. Now, like you talked about in this Tom Clancy, he put Jack Ryan is a common character in a lot of his stories, and he also has several movies that have come out that star Jack Ryan. You've got from the Tom Clancy movies that are Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, which Harrison Ford played Jack Ryan.
Okay.
And you have Some of All Fears. Ben Affleck plays Jack Ryan.
Okay.
You have Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, and Chris Pine plays Jack Ryan.
How did I know
Also, there was a Tom Clancy movie on Amazon Prime. It's not Jack Ryan, but it's Without Remorse. Stars Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
And then obviously you have the Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime with John Krasinski.
Yes.
And so you also have Tom Clancy's done other things. He's also there's a big video game series. There's several of them like Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell, and Ghost Recon, which are big video games with Tom Clancy's name on it. And actually, I think they're making those into movies.
Really?
Those.
So not only if you want to talk about something that is so far removed from me besides history, it's a video game.
Yeah.
Unless it's Mario or Sonic, I don't know anything about it.
But I did see that they were trying to. I guess they're trying to make some Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell, and Ghost Recon movies. So
I think I've heard of a Recon, but that may
Ghost Recon. I think ain't that the Mission Impossible?
Oh yes, it is.
Ghost Recon.
I think something like that. Maybe it's not. Yeah. It was Recon 6 or whatever. Recon. No, it was 5. Ghost, is that like when it's
Ghost
like
something? That was a Ghost
explosion
Recon.
or something. That's Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol.
Yes.
Good job. We did that. I'm trying to think.
Not a very old movie.
Total Recall is what I'm thinking.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Is that a movie too?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's
okay.
All right. So Alec Baldwin plays Jack Ryan. They had Kevin Costner turn down the role.
Really?
And yeah, he turned down the role to direct and star in Dances with Wolves.
Okay.
Which was the best film that year. Academy
I haven't
Award.
seen that, and I want to see that.
Dancing with Wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that one.
Don't know anything about it,
Harrison,
but I've heard it many times.
And then Harrison Ford turned down the role, but later ended up playing Jack Ryan in.
Oh, so he played after this.
He played after it, but he was offered a role and turned it down, but then ended up coming.
Well, maybe
playing
that was just not for him.
Maybe this wasn't his role. I do say that Alec Baldwin. That's got to be like the best Alec Baldwin movie I've seen. I don't know.
Besides Beetlejuice.
Well,
just kidding.
He was in Beetlejuice, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. That's what that's one thing that I read too, was that he wasn't a very big actor.
No.
The Beetlejuice was pretty much his first big film that he did.
And then this one
was after that. Yeah.
So that was his. That's when he
this
really
was
got
his big break.
Yeah, this was his big break. Really started his career.
And I read an article. I don't know if you read the same one, but he was saying how. Oh, I know what it was. It was an interview he had done with somebody, and he was talking about Sean Connery, and he was like, "Oh, I can run circles around Sean Connery, all this stuff." Yeah,
acting circles around it. Really?
You know how he is. He's so cocky, which I think he was half joking. But then he said he never met him. So then he said the first time he met him, he was in his uniform.
Oh, for real?
And wearing like a killer wig, that was not his hair. They said it was toupee, I guess.
Yeah,
not a wig. Some kind of wig. It was like a killer toupee, and he's also a lot taller than Alec Baldwin. And so he said, I felt so insignificant in that moment. Just like,
so little.
Like meeting him and like his presence.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
Knocked him down a few pegs.
Oh, yeah. That's why I hadn't seen that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Like that. I think Alec Baldwin's, I like him a lot at 30 Rock.
Yeah.
I think he was great in 30 Rock. As a comedy role was great. I think this was his best movie I've seen him in. I'm just not a big Alec Baldwin guy.
Yeah, he played this one pretty straight. I liked him in this one too.
And then you have Sir Sean Connery playing
Connery.
Marco Ramos.
I present you the ballistic missile submarine Red October. My officers and I request asylum in the United States of America.
Sean Connery.
Yes.
Sir Sean Connery, because he's knighted.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just being funny.
No, it's Sir.
Nice.
Sir Sean Connery.
Okay.
And then he did pass away in 2020 at the age of 90.
Oh.
And he's also obviously most known for playing the original James Bond.
Yes.
James Bond. And then I like him. I like one of my favorite movies of his is The Rock, the 1995 movie The Rock. Have you ever seen that with
Nope. The
Nicolas
only Rock
Cage?
that I know is
The Rock.
The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock.
Dwayne Rock Johnson.
Do you smell The Rock? That's the different Rock. No, The Rock is it's about Alcatraz and Sean Connery and
who else is in that?
Who did I say? Nicolas Cage.
Okay, I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah, we might do it.
On the website.
That one's definitely going to be one of the ones we watch for our podcast.
And I like Nicolas Cage. I know a lot of people out there that don't like him, but I really do. I like him as an actor.
He makes a lot of good movies, but he never turns down a role. So he
fails in a lot.
He fails a lot of them too. So,
but I do like him in most of the things I've seen him in. Yes.
Yeah,
I think he's a very good. What do you call it? Method actor.
Okay.
Yes, or overactor.
Overactor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, he has a role. He does not turn down roles.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. You've got James Earl, and I'll go through a lot of these other names. There's a lot of familiar faces in this film.
Sam Neill, I know him.
Sam Neill, there's a lot of them. A big name is James Earl Jones.
Yes.
That guy has a presence about him, a voice that's unrecognized. I mean, he has a
very recognizable voice.
Very recognizable
there you go.
voice. Distinguished. Yeah, for sure. He does the voice of Darth Vader in Mufasa from Lion King. Mufasa. But yeah, he's amazing actor and everything. So then you've got Scott Glenn as he's the captain of the USS Dallas. Now he's like all these guys have really great careers, and I've only recognized him in a few things though. Like Scott Glenn, he plays Stick in the Daredevil series that came out on Netflix. I recognize him immediately from that. He's the one that trains Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
You got Sam Neill that you mentioned. He's best known for being in Jurassic Park.
Yes, I knew it right away.
Yeah. You got Tim Curry. He's a doctor from the Red October.
God. All I see is
say it.
Shoot, I can't
Home
remember.
Alone 2?
No, well that.
That's all I can say.
Home Alone 2 and
The Muppets?
No,
What are you talking about?
the Halloween movie.
Oh. He was in
Isn't he in that?
It?
No. The musical one. You've probably never seen it before.
I'm going to look it up.
I was going to say Little Shop of Horrors, but that's not it. It's something similar to that because I always get those two mixed up. Dang it, what's the name of that movie?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yes.
Dang.
Have you seen that before?
No.
You never seen it?
I don't think I've seen that
You wouldn't
one.
like it.
I don't think so.
It would be a lot like Moulin Rouge, I think.
Except for
we
like
should
a
watch
70s.
it. We should watch. That's not my next pick, but I'm not wasting it.
I'm just saying do what you want to do.
I know.
Not for the next one like you're talking about. You can put
But
it on
it'll
the
be
list.
good for October. But it's
I guess
okay.
so. No, we're running.
It's not one of my favorites, but it is a classic. It's a cold classic for sure.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like Little Shop of Horrors type thing. Yeah.
I got you. No, I only can see him as in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, but he's big in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's the main guy.
Oh, I got
So
you.
that's why that's all I remember.
That's funny. Stellan Skarsgård. Stellan? Is it Stellan? Skarsgård. He's
Stalin? I don't know.
yeah, but he's the I forget his name.
Skarsgård. That
but he
sounds familiar.
plays the guy from Thor and the Avengers. He's the older guy that he's in Thor the original and
The crazy guy, the professor guy.
the professor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what was
Okay.
his name? Oh man, I
can't
had it
remember.
earlier.
Professor something. Yeah. It's
But
fine. I
yeah.
know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
So he's in that. He's the captain of the submarine that gets blown up at the end.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then you got Jeffrey Jones. He's had a good career. He's got a couple of good movies, but I only can ever remember him from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's the principal from Ferris Bueller.
Me too. That's all I was trying to figure out who he reminded me of. That's it right there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of recognizable faces, a lot of young recognize. Like, I can't believe how young Alec Baldwin is.
I know.
Jet black hair and stuff. Like Sean Connery, he's been old for a long time though.
Yeah, he looks the same.
Yeah, he's the same for like 3 decades. So, and you had like you said, you had never seen this before.
Never heard of it.
Never even heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Okay.
Right. Which, I mean, I do know who Tom Clancy is, and I knew it was Jack Ryan series. I knew Tom Clancy did the Jack Ryan series, but I didn't know that that's what this was.
Okay.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Oh yeah. So
I feel so sad not ever heard of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a big cult film.
It's a big movie.
Yeah.
It's a big. I mean, for anybody that's male tendency, like we talked about, a lot of males would really enjoy this movie.
You know, like I've said before, it was just me and my sister, my dad. I'm sure he did watch this movie, but he was a big Trekkie, and so that's all I remember watching was Star Trek and Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith, yeah.
And, you know, growing up in the 80s, we just didn't watch a lot of movies. Like, if we did, it was like Little Mermaid and Cinderella. What we wanted to watch.
But you don't know what they watch. You know,
right.
Adults watched it and stuff. They just don't want to introduce it to you.
No, yeah.
It wasn't their...
I mean, he probably wouldn't think I would like it.
No, yeah, they're not going to waste their time. Like, hey, you like Little Mermaid, you might want to watch Hunt for Red October. It's in the ocean.
It is. He did say he's seen a mermaid before in the movie. Maybe he saw Ariel.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I got to admit, though, because I had seen this. I know I've seen this, and I hadn't seen it in so long. I had forgotten a lot of this movie. And I was watching it, I'm like, yes, I do remember it. I really like. Yeah, well, I really enjoyed watching it again. I just don't remember when I watched it, how long it's been, and all that. But I just remember it being a really good movie. I remembered correctly. Now, all right. So this is a submarine movie. Mm-hmm. Now I gotta say,
took place during the Cold War. That part.
So this is what's interesting. I saw that this movie was going to be set in current time, which would have been 1990.
Okay.
But between filming and the movie coming out, Russia had done away with the Communist Party so the Cold War really had ended during that time. And so, which the producers and the studios, they thought this was going to be very confusing. This wouldn't be relevant anymore, and it wouldn't go over as well. So that's why in the very beginning they put the crawl that is set in 1984, and that's why they put it back in 1984, the opening crawls.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, that's when the book came out, so I guess that's a good nod to it. But so I do think this is one of the best submarine movies. And I talked to a buddy of mine, told me we watched this movie. I'm like, do you think this is one of the best? He's like, yeah, probably. He said either that or like Crimson Tide's a good one, which is Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. That is a good movie.
Yeah, I can't think of another submarine movie. So
and then you got U-571, which is another really good one. Now, go ahead and tell me about, you pretty much told us your feelings on it.
Well, I mean, I have, I didn't, like I said, I told you last night, I was like, please don't be surprised. I'm probably not going to bring much to the table. But like I said, when I slept on it, I went and did a little research. And so I just didn't think I was going to have anything to even talk about.
I was worried about it. And we were watching, I'm like, man, I was like, when I first thought about it. And then after watching it, I'm like, she might end up liking this one. I wasn't sure. And then you were giving me hints that I don't think you really liked it. And so this has been a wave of I don't know what you're really thinking about this movie.
Well, I mean, I did have some favorite scenes that stuck out to me. I think my favorite scenes were, and I don't know who these people are, like the ambassador, the Russian ambassador with the Mr. Pelt guy. I don't know who Mr. Pelt was. Or at first I thought he was the president.
Yeah, he wasn't the president.
Then I thought he was like not prime minister, but like
Secretary of State or something.
Yeah, Secretary of State. But I don't know. I guess they don't ever really say, because he says he's a politician, but he doesn't say who his title was. Yeah, I'm not sure what the title would be, the person that talks directly to the ambassador, Russian ambassador. But yeah. But they didn't address him in any formal way. Yeah. It was just Mr. Pelt or whatever his first name was. But I love the scenes with him and the ambassador. And I got those in those moments. I mean, they were funny. Yeah, they were funny because you know that they're playing a political game to each other. The audience kind of knows that.
And they're like, I'm like, he doesn't believe anything this Russian guy's saying right now.
Yeah. Well, he already knew what he was coming there for. You know what I mean? Like, I think he already,
they already had their
an
intelligence. Like, the U.S. already had better intelligence from what they were going to get from the Russian ambassador.
Right. So he was basically just like saying like, okay, are you going to talk out of your butt? Or are you going to
exactly
tell me what you want to say?
Exactly. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then at the end he goes, oh, you lost another submarine?
That was one of my favorite quotes. I know. Like, so let me tell. So tell me this. You lost another one?
Yeah. We're like, maybe we'll find it some other time.
I know.
One of our submarines, an Alpha, was last reported in the area of the Grand Banks. We've not heard from her for some time.
Andre, you've lost another submarine?
So I really like those scenes together. And then I really like the scene in the submarine with Ramius and the other captain, Vasily, I'm assuming.
The one from
his
USS
friend.
Dallas.
No. The Captain Ramius with his colleague.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His
when
right
they were
hand.
talking about what they were going to do when they got to America.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was so moving when they talked about all that. And it was so much sadder when he died.
Yeah.
You know,
and I kept thinking that scene was going to, like, something else was going on. Like, they were doing something behind his back.
Yeah.
And he was, like, trying to see if, but it really wasn't. It never ended up being
I wasn't
that way.
quite sure if this guy was going to be loyal to him.
Yeah,
because it kind of
during that
made it seem
part,
that way.
it looked like he was going to, like you said,
murder him or something. I don't know.
They were seeing if he was noticing some the other stuff that was going on, but like nothing ever happened.
No, and I just thought that was, and it set up that last part where he ended up dying and saying, "I sure wish I could have seen Montana." You know, I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
I had to die.
I know.
I would like to have seen Montana.
And then when the Americans boarded the Red October for the first time, that was like the longest awkward pause.
Oh, yeah.
They just like both stared at each other like, all right. And I just
we
like,
good? We good?
Yeah, their eye language or their facial impressions were like you said, you good? You
like,
good?
oh, Americans, come on down.
I know. So I thought that was
because they're all going at that point. They
part.
don't know what's going on. They're going on a hunch that they're going to welcome them.
And they're like, do they know what we know? You know, like the Russians are like, do they know we're not trying to hurt them? You know? And so, you know, Jack Ryan, he has the stronger hunch than anybody else. So they're kind of just going off of what Jack Ryan wants to say and what he wants to do. And I thought that was pretty cool with the Periscope thing. I don't even know how they did that, but cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that's with Morse code.
Yeah.
But, and then I like, again, the part where he's like, give me one signal, you know.
Right.
And he's like, but Captain, no, give me one, please.
Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah. But yeah, those were and then obviously the last scene with Ryan and Ramius was really moving.
Going through the river on the boat or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. There were those are good scenes. One that really stood out to me was there was a lot of good, like I said, there's really good pacing in this movie.
Yeah.
During that, it took a little bit to get started.
Right.
But there were some good scenes, and they do a really good job of mixing the slow moments, the ebbs and flows, some of the dramatic or the suspenseful, the captivating moments of, you know, different things that they did. Even with the submarine, you're like, how are they going to make this so interesting? But they do a really good job.
Yeah, the whole thing with the turning was so. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I'm like thinking like these guys can't see. They're going off of like sonar, and they're going off
math.
Yeah, exactly. and then you've got moments like one of my favorite ones was when Jack Ryan is trying to get on the USS Dallas in the helicopter. That was a great scene.
I was so frustrated with that whole thing, and I loved how this is what I loved about this movie was the writing of how, when you were thinking of certain thoughts, they ended up addressing those later on. Like, because when he's down, I'm like, why is he going there? They can't just send a fax or something.
Yeah.
And he has a great line. It says, next time Jack write a goddamn memo. And I'm just like, Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Why the heck are you going to Alaska and going down this freezing water and then...
Not in Alaska.
Oh,
they're in the
where they
Atlantic.
at?
They're in the Atlantic.
Oh, Atlantic. Wherever.
Right.
It looked
They're
like
off in
Alaska
there.
to me.
Yeah.
Someplace cold. Doesn't
Enough
matter.
of Greenland and...
Okay. Yeah, and then these helicopter guys is being complete jerks and plus they probably don't want to be there.
Well, they're running out of gas.
Right,
They're running out of fuel. But it's crazy what he's having to do, and he's jumping around trying to get information from everybody. And they're like, he gets flown to a aircraft carrier to get close to the action, and then he sees the USS Dallas. It's like, okay, they got something going on over there. He's like, I need to get on that sub, and they're like, well, you can't get on that sub. Like, how are we gonna get you there? And there's a lot of drama, like the fuel, the fuel and stuff. So they did a really cool job. Oh, did you? I know you didn't know this, but the scene where they're on the aircraft carrier and there's a plane explodes on the flight deck before it takes off. That's actually a stock video from an actual accident that happened in like 1954.
Oh wow!
On an aircraft carrier. I mean, the pilot survived with minor burns and scrapes, and
I know that's a common thing. I have watched, actually. I don't know where I watched this from, but I watched a documentary about just those people on the flight deck.
Yeah.
That's their job, is to
put out fires.
Put out fires and get planes in, and how they do that. And it's fascinating how they do all that.
Insane.
Yeah.
What the people that work on top.
I just remembered I did that.
Yeah.
Funny how those nuggets of information just pop up in your brain. That's when you have overload brain.
This movie really does sensationalize the U.S. Navy a lot the way like Top Gun did for the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And so they even had like Navy recruit officers or people or whatever at theaters.
Wow.
Because they were expecting like a similar response how Top Gun did for
so
the Air Force.
I'd be interested to see those statistics.
Yeah, really.
Did you know? I found a fun fact.
Okay.
Did you know that not a single shot was filmed underwater?
I did not know that, but
you probably figured
I saw
that,
I saw a lot of how they did like the CGI of how they looked underwater. I'm
right.
like, so I do want to talk about that because what they did for that was like CGI was in its infancy.
Right.
So you're still using a lot of practical effects and everything. So what they did to make it look like these submarines were underwater is they used smoke, and then they added CGI bubbles and particles, underwater particles.
I would have never guessed that. I would have thought they were filming underwater.
It looked great.
I was wondering. I was like, how did they not film underwater?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I figured the submarines were underwater, but there were a lot of underwater scenes.
They showed a lot of underwater, yeah. And you could tell it was like some CGI stuff, like the torpedoes and stuff. They look kind of weird, but yeah, the whole thing was like it's just smoke and CGI, and so a lot of cool. I love practical effects. Like CGI has a good place, but I hate they're going away with a lot of practical effects in movies and just relying on CGI so much.
Yeah,
I used to watch this. I think it was on Discovery Channel or something, but I used to watch what was it called? But it basically showed how. Yeah, I watched Mythbusters. I watched a lot of those. No, it showed how the films were done, like the practical effects of how stuff was filmed, and it was so interesting.
Like the craft of it. Yeah, I think it is really cool and creative.
so interesting.
I think it'll get back to that. I know photography is getting back to that. With like film, and then not using just be more creative with how you create art.
Yeah.
So I do think that, I hope anyways, that video film will get back to
because
beginning as well.
Yeah, for sure, because there's a lot of complaints going around with a lot of these movies because these CGI companies are being
Superman.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the ones we've seen problems with in the Marvel movies, it's like they're overworking these CGI, and they're moving on to other projects so quickly and not doing a good job. It's like some of these CGI from like the 2000s are look better than some of these.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you should not, like everything just made on a green screen. We'll just put everything in. Like it shouldn't be that way.
It's lazy. That's all it is. I mean, I guess you can say computer.
But you can do whatever
is artistic as well. But I feel like with computer, you're letting the device take over the creative part and not the human, which is why a lot of like photographers are getting back into the film and like the art of developing your own film and having, you know, all of those factors being adjusted by humans and not your technology.
Yeah.
And I think that is, and plus we have all these AI and
Yeah.
now that's a whole other thing. I feel like photography is getting more towards film, but then we also introduce AI, which is really hard to pass up.
For sure. But you're talking about how the practical, because like look at the movie recently, the Top Gun Maverick, the most recent one, you know, that came out. Like all of those scenes in the airplane were filmed in actual airplanes flying around. So that's their genuine reaction to them flying around.
Right. Yeah.
And it just brings a better element to it, to film, to the acting and the way the things look. And so if somebody, it asks a lot for the actors to act
on a green screen
to nothing. A lot of times you're like, okay, pretend there's a box here. You're like, okay, you know, and so maybe the actors have to do a lot harder.
Maybe it's more of their craft.
Yeah,
that
they
have
like,
to do
are they
more
actually going to do that and then change it to
Yeah.
something else? But so, anyways, yeah. So I thought that was interesting about the CGI. We got on a little tangent there.
That's all right.
But I thought it was funny. We laughed at this when it came up, the flight attendant with Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
With Jack Ryan's explaining what turbulence is
to the flight attendant. Yeah. I was like, what the heck? Get off this flight right now.
I'm like, that's probably the worst scene in the movie.
And I get that they're trying to show his intelligence.
Right.
But it could have been like the person next to him.
Like, I don't like turbulence. Turbulence?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Whoa. Like, for real?
Maybe she didn't mean it that way, but I thought I took it.
Yeah, no, that's what it looked.
Yeah.
All right, so what was your favorite? Who's your favorite actor or in the movie? Do you have a favorite actor or worst actor in that you pulled?
I do have to say I have not seen a lot of Sean Connery movies. You know, all I've seen is really James Bond, and I feel like, like I'm not impressed. Like I was just kind of, you know, whatever.
In the James Bond movies or this?
In James Bond movies.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think a lot of it maybe because sometimes I'm pressured to watch them, more or less being
60s.
chosen.
I say they're 60s too.
Yeah, but no. I thought Sean Connery was fantastic in this movie. Especially him playing a Russian when he's not Russian. His Russian was fantastic. I thought he was going to speak Russian the whole time, you know, and he probably could have. But I thought his acting, especially with the character evolvement of him being like this hard captain and people were scared of him, to more of a soft, relatable person, and like you saw him as like a person, not
they made him a
captain.
likable guy.
Yeah.
That was really cool about this, because like you said in the beginning, you think he's just a villain, and he's a crazy guy.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
what they Russian were trying to make him seem
Yeah.
like. Yeah, and they
so,
maybe thought that. I don't know.
And then like you thought that's what the orders, and then he kills that guy, and you're like, oh my gosh,
he really is
he's
terrible.
Really bad. But
he's
then
gonna kill people.
And then he really makes him into a likable, guy in this captain in this, and to the very end. And so, yeah, I like the way they portrayed him, the way he acted, the way that he carried himself as that part.
It was definitely very believable, and I think he did carry this movie. I mean, everyone in this movie I thought did phenomenal acting.
They all did their part well, yeah.
Yes, I agree. I mean, even the smallest parts,
Right.
you know. Which I can't remember that guy's name, the Mufasa voice.
James Earl Jones?
Yes, he was so good. Like I was like, oh man, he's so good. He's just so good in everything, anyways. But I also really enjoyed Sam Neill. Also, just because I have a soft spot for Sam Neill because of nostalgia.
I don't like his accent.
You don't?
Yeah, well, a lot of the accents were. I mean,
a lot of the accents were.
One thing I didn't like was I didn't really believe that a lot of them were Russian.
Right, I know. Like
the seamen,
obviously,
yes, the seamen I believe were
yes,
Russian.
like Sam Neill. Give me a break.
A lot of those guys.
Or the other guy.
The Ferris Bueller
the doctor guy,
yeah. The doctor
no, the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, he's not Russian. But Sean Connery, you can totally, I believe he's Russian.
Well, then he wasn't even Russian. He was Lithuanian or whatever.
Oh, that's
they said
right.
He wasn't even Russian.
He did say that, yeah. But, I mean, I believed his character as that.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And that may just be us looking from the future past, knowing what these other guys have been in. But
They weren't Russian though.
No, they weren't Russian. Yeah, but yeah, the seamen were definitely.
Yeah,
I don't even know if they spoke English.
Yeah, they played that well. Singing the Russian songs, which I knew that bothered you.
Yes, it was fine in the beginning. I thought that was fantastic.
Like,
but oh my god, it went on forever.
It did go on for a while during the opening
and it was
credits.
so loud.
It was.
It was just like I'm just like, what are we watching? It was like we're watching a Russian film.
Yeah,
something.
like a Russian propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are we getting brainwashed here? I'm so scared.
I don't know what I'm listening to. I don't understand the words.
Yes.
My favorite character was actually the Courtney B. Vance. He was Seaman Jones, the sonar guy. The black guy that was the sonar.
Oh, yes. He was good.
He was really good. Jonesy, yeah.
Console, crazy Ivan.
Seaman Jones is what his name, but Jonesy, yeah. I really liked him.
I thought he was gonna have a bigger role than that, but
yeah.
I mean, he did.
There was a lot of characters.
There were a lot,
and like I don't really understand what his purpose was for going on to the Red October. Like, why did his whole job was to find the Red October? He did a great job in the whole drama.
He's there for support.
That and like, why are you on the ship? Like,
yeah.
Are you listening? Yep, we are on the Red October.
We are there. I found it. I'm standing inside.
Exactly. He was just a good character from the Red October. They already had like 2-3 actors from that.
They just had to make it even. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was funny. But I liked him. He had some really good scenes in that.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't really have a worst I don't really have a bad actor. I think everybody did a great job.
I didn't really care for the doctor.
Yeah.
He was kind of super annoying, but I think that was the point. And he was supposed to be kind of
well, he was like the outcast.
Yes.
He was like, they waited for him to leave. Or they sent him on a whatever.
I felt so sad for him. Yeah. The guy was like, bye.
Yeah.
Get out. He didn't even get to eat his dinner.
I know. None of them did. They stopped eating. I'm like, are y'all hungry?
Oh,
like
everybody but Sean Connery.
I thought, but yeah, the whole movie was interesting. Like you said, it was the chess game of it all, of not knowing, and it was really. I thought the writing was really good about it, because the understanding of how to get these guys off the ship, and they had to have a reason for them to get off. Like, why are they getting off? Yeah, it's like, we'll just pretend like there's a leak in the nuclear reactor, and so they got to get them off. And so like Jack Ryan recognized they had to get these guys off the ship, like, because they all can't go to America and all defect to America.
In reality, I don't think they all did want to either.
No, but he was not going to be able to talk all those. Right, he was not going to be able to talk all of them into it.
Right.
So he had to get them off the ship, because all they had to go back and tell Russia, like, hey, look, America's got our submarine over there. So I thought that was some.
Yeah, those were pretty funny parts with them yelling on the boat.
Yeah, that was so good.
He's fighting. He's gonna give him hell.
Yeah, and then they blow up the other one. They're like so defeated, like, oh. And I thought that was really cool moments. That whole sequence, the ending sequences and stuff. There was a lot of good drama in that. Mm-hmm. It was the whole movie was really, really captivating. Really kept your attention to be like a non-action movie. You had a couple of good quotes. Do you have any more of them?
There was a couple. There was when that Mr. Pelt guy was talking to Jack in the briefing.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm a politician, which means I'm a cheat and a liar. And when I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing lollipops.
I'm a politician, which means I'm a cheat and a liar. And when I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops.
Like, man, that is so good.
Like, he just painted a pretty good picture of a politician.
Yes, he did. And then I think my favorite line of the whole movie was when what's his name? Ramius is telling Jack, Ryan, some things in here don't react well to bullets. And he says, yeah, like me, I don't react to bullets.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I mean, I guess he does react, he dies, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Ryan, some things in here don't react well to bullets. Yeah, like me. I don't react well to bullets.
I feel like that line just got missed so quickly.
It did.
It
kind of goes over.
Because I saw it when I was looking at the quotes, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I said, but it got missed so quick because of the action that was in it. He just moved on to the next scene,
Yeah. I like the one where it says, where Admiral Painter, he says, he says, "What's his plan?" And Jack says, "His plan." He says, "Russians don't take a dump without a plan."
Yeah, that's so funny.
That was good.
The average Ruski son don't take a dump without a plan.
So I thought that's pretty much it. I thought the smoking in this movie was out of hand.
It was crazy.
There was a lot of smoking. I'm like, why are you smoking in a pressurized vessel under the ocean?
It really bothered me. I was like, every time they lit up, I'm like, oh.
I know. I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, is that for real?
Yeah.
So did they? I guess they really.
I guess they really did. Yeah, I mean, they didn't know.
No ventilation.
I know they did in the navies, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like on like the battleships and stuff. I don't know about submarines. I guess so.
I don't know. I mean,
I guess we wouldn't do it if it wasn't a thing.
No. So anyways, all right, well, we'll get to his and her rating. So I'm really interested on your rating on this one because I really have no idea because this, like I said, this has been a wave of up and down of how you felt about this. And I thought you were going to come in bashing it or just confused and not have much to say. And so I'm surprised at how long this has gone on.
Well, thanks. That makes me feel intelligent.
No, you've done great.
Well, I will tell you, if you would ask me last night, I would have given it a 1.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Okay. So, like I said in the beginning, this is a low simmer.
Yeah.
And so after sleeping on it, even kind of doing my own research about things, which none of that really, I mean, it's weird because like none of it changed my mind. Like it didn't like convince me like, oh my God, this is an amazing film. Yeah. Like also, and I take into account that this is such a, I don't know about I would say cult, but it is a very nostalgic movie for a lot of movie people who watched this in the theaters in the 80s, you know, or 90s, sorry. Yeah. I forgot this film's set in the 80s, not filmed.
Right.
But yeah, people in the 90s, so I do know like this is a very favorite movie for them. I guess I kind of put myself in their shoes to see like what like where they liked it and what they liked about it, and that kind of helped me to understand where this was coming from, I guess, and where the root of it was, because I think that was what I was missing, and maybe that's my fault for not doing any research before I watch a movie, which is kind of the point.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's like you can go watch the trailers. Like a lot of times, if we watch a new movie or something, we're like, "Do we want to watch this movie?" And we'll watch the trailer.
Yeah, I'm that person too. I hate watching trailers. So, I want to go in knowing
nothing.
If
you think you're going to watch it, you'll just turn the trailer off halfway through. You're like,
yes,
yeah, let's watch this movie.
Yes.
And you just turn the trailer off.
I'm already convinced. Like in the next 10 seconds, I'm like, okay, let's go.
Like, what is this movie about? Like, oh yeah, that's good. Let's go.
Yeah, but and then also being able to just like look back on, just rethinking over the movie
plot
again.
And the direction and the writing and all that.
Yes, and I think the writing is fantastic in this movie. The dialogue is really great. The acting was really great.
I think the cinematography.
It's not an interest of mine.
Right, and I understand that. That's
rewatchability is very low.
Right.
Like I was very bored while I watched the movie, but again, obviously it's soaked in there somewhere because I was still thinking about it. So saying all that to say, I would give this a solid 3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Wow. Yes. I didn't expect that. I was hoping for a 3. Got a 3.5.
I think we always hope for a 3.
Yeah. I think 3 is a baseline.
Split in the
every
middle.
one of them. I hope I'll at least get a 3.
Well, I mean, I would have given it a 3, but I really think the dialogue in this movie is really smart.
There's a lot of good aspects to the movie that make it great. Like I said, the acting, the writing, the cinematography. You know, I think a lot of that contributes.
The cinematography was really cool. Again, since I come from like I'm not film, but photography perspective, I do notice like camera angles and camera movement. We talked about that in Batman.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a really good job of that too, making it believable that they were in a submarine, because they weren't.
No.
You know, they were on a set.
Well, they were on a set, and this set was built like 40 feet up in the air or something like that, and it was rotated it could rotate 45 degrees.
Oh, cool.
And they were like, I think Sean Connery said it was like he would get like claustrophobic because I mean people were on this little set, and it was like 60 people like between camera crews and stuff, and it would tilt. They would tilt it to make it look like they're in a submarine. So yeah, a lot of those, and then they use the same stuff over and over. They just change the colors of the set. So like
I figured
the
that.
red and the blues and stuff. So
it's really smart, and that's the thing I like too, is because it was a 1990s film. I think a lot of, like we talked about before, a lot of it is just smart filmmaking, and I can just really
appreciate
that.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think after rewatching it, this does have a good rewatchability. I really wish I would have seen this before now. Like, wish I would have rewatched this movie. It just comes up and watches instead of like, because I didn't really know it. And I'm like, I wish I would have watched this movie again before. So this gives us a good platform for us to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated it again. I think, if it came on, I'd watch it like on TV or something. So
nice.
It has a good rewatchability for me. I'm not a big military movie guy. I'm like submarines and stuff. I think the Navy, I really respect what the Navy does.
Yes.
Like, that was one branch. That's one branch of the government, of the military, I probably would not enlist in if I had to.
Not.
Just the fear.
That was
of
my other question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Because they, I think it was on. Yes, it was on the radio show that I listened to. I listen to Kate Craddock in the morning when I take the kids to school. It's a very wide syndicated radio show, so I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. But that was one of, I don't know where it came from or what they were talking about, but that came up with what branch of the military would you enroll in?
I listened to a podcast and the guy did the same thing.
Oh, maybe it was that. Was that it?
No.
Oh, man,
you're
sorry.
talking to Siri on your phone?
It was it. Because remember we were okay, that was what it was. That was, and they said the Coast Guard. Yes.
Oh, that's right. It was. I thought that was this week.
Y'all,
we
are.
Oh, we're up. Yeah, we were
we
actually.
We do live in the same world.
Yeah, we were both. All right, for the audience to catch up.
Wow. That's so sad.
All right, we were on our way home from the beach.
I feel old.
And I was listening to a podcast.
I was asleep. I was happy.
But I thought I listened to this because it was the one that came out that week, and then I listened to that podcast. A different episode, new episode this week. So I thought that was this week. So I thought you were like, oh my, wow, that's interesting. But it's actually, we were listening to the same podcast on the way home from the beach. I thought you were asleep too, because you actually had your headphones in watching.
No, not
stuff.
Not during
not
that
there.
part.
A lot of that time you were when I was listening to the podcast.
No, but that story was really funny because I agreed. I would probably do the Coast Guard as well.
Yeah.
And that was who? What was the guy? I can't remember his name.
John Christ.
John Christ. Yeah,
it was John
we
Christ.
really like John Christ.
Net Positive is the podcast.
Yeah, let's plug the podcast. Like they need to plug.
Right. So, but yeah,
I
thought about that. I thought about that too, and I did. I
really thought it was on Kate Craddock in the morning, and then I started thinking about it. Wait, no, it wasn't.
No.
And then you're like, I heard about that too. We're so stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Sorry, folks.
You just went on that journey with us. Hope you buckled in because that was wild.
So if you're confused, if you're hanging with us so far, we'll get back on topic. But I did think about that earlier. Which branch of government I would do? I would not do Navy because I'm scared to death. I was scared to drown.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah, being on the open ocean,
I still want to be in the Army. I don't like having bullets fire at me either. No. So.
Well, exactly. So, anyways. All right, so let's move on to what we're going to watch next time. So this is your pick. Have you picked it?
I have. I did pick it. I picked it right before we recorded.
Okay, because I meant to give you, to remind you to pick.
I have a list, so I just kind of went eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well.
No, for our 10th episode, I pulled out the big guns, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Pulled out the big guns, all right? So I think I talked about Pretty Woman was one of my favorite movies. It is one of my most... Huh?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, it is my most rewatched movie.
Okay.
Just because I love it. It's such an easy movie to rewatch. Which now my rewatch movie...
If you're into that sort of thing.
Yes. Hush. Now my rewatch movie list is getting full because I'm also adding You've Got Mail because I really liked watching that again.
This is really reminding us of why we rewatch these movies. It reminds us why we like these movies.
Yeah.
Because some of them we hadn't seen in so long. You're like, I need to watch that again.
Yeah. Well, also it depends.
Put it on my rewatch list.
I watch Pretty Woman when I'm sick because it makes me feel good. And I'm like, You've Got Mail would also make me feel good. Yeah. Or if I was sad.
You need to rewatch that. You need to watch that with Ella.
You
already told her. You already told her.
I don't know if she would like it because it's so far removed from
I think we talked
our world.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we probably did. But anyways, I'm pulling out the big guns. I'm pulling out one of my favorite movies of all time.
Of all time
that you have not seen. And it's not Grease. Okay, that's on the list, but I'm not going to torture you with that yet.
Thank God, because we watched the musical on the boat. We were on the cruise, and they did Grease the musical, which I enjoyed. I'm like, and then I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, oh my gosh, if Megan picks this movie to watch soon, I am going to be mad.
No. This is my favorite movie of all time, and I was so shocked that you had never seen it. Probably about as much as you shocked that I've never seen James Bond. I want to see if you want. I don't want to see if you guessed. What's your first guess if you think of what it was?
I really don't know. I'm trying to think of conversations we've had recently that you were shocked about.
Besides Grease, because I was surprised you had never seen Grease either.
Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. You're torturing me.
No, it's happening.
Oh, folks.
It's happening, y'all.
Folks.
All the ladies are going to be so happy.
Folks. Stay tuned. Oh, we're doing that next?
Yeah.
Can we get a pick when we do that one?
Are you for real?
Just kidding.
Are we changing the rules mid-episode or mid-podcast?
I'm just kidding. I digress.
No, it's my pick.
Yes,
it's
it's your
the 10th
pick.
episode, and I'm picking a banger, okay?
Look, I do know that this has a big following.
Yes.
A big fan base. I will tread lightly.
Yes, it's also with the late Patrick Swayze,
Yeah.
so you have to be nice.
I know. Is this real? Is it a musical? It's
No,
not really
it's not.
A musical.
It's not a musical.
I know, like the music.
It's
is
they're
iconic.
dancers.
I know the
They're
music
dancers,
is iconic
yeah.
in it, and I've seen all that, and I know the famous move from Dirty Dancing.
But you don't know why, and I think that will help you like the movie more.
Who's the actress in that?
I can't even.
You don't even care. You
Caleb.
just watch it for Patrick Swayze, don't you?
It's true. Those hips don't lie.
Oh God. Okay, we're watching. What's that movie? Roadhouse. After that, then.
Fine by me. Anything Patrick Swayze, and I'll watch it.
Isn't he in Ghost?
Yeah, that's
No,
I don't.
We're not gonna do a Patrick Swayze.
You won't
rewatch
like Ghost, I don't think.
series.
It's also Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, nope.
That's also we should have watched that this month because of Halloween, but it's okay. I'm picking.
That's not a Halloween movie.
It's
Just
about
because it's a ghost.
It's about ghosts.
Just because it has a ghost in it.
Not a ghost. It's about ghosts in general. You don't even ever seen it. You don't even know.
Well, I just know that he's a
even know.
ghost. I don't know.
You don't even go here. Okay.
I don't. I want my pink shirt back.
All right, we gotta close this up. We're gonna be
This
going on
has
forever.
gone way longer than I thought. I thought it was gonna be like a 45 minutes tops.
All right, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Dirty Dancing coming up.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
excited. I'm excited to torture you.
Sorry, no one listens to us anyway. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around this long. I hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. Like Megan said, stay tuned for her pick.
Yay!
It's going to be great.
Yes, it is. You should be excited. Smile.
I am smiling under the pain.
Under the tears.
Under the tears. All right. Thanks, everybody. Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Love you. Love
All
you.
right.
Love you. All right. Stay tuned. Bye, guys.
Bye.